Hello, everybody, and welcome back for the second segment of the March 10th Trips and Traps. Andy Serling and Eric Donovan.
3 more races to bring you. Let's get to the first race of the second segment. It's the 4th race from March 5th, and we're going to look at the 8 We Get It.
Yeah, this was a situation where, I feel as though a little more patience could have been used. And what's interesting is We Get It has no speed. And there didn't appear to be a ton of speed on paper in this race, but you got to dance with the girl that brought you there a little bit. And the best race We Get It ever ran in was a race that kind of came apart, and he had some trouble, and he came from last, and he's a dead closer. Now, he's in the yellow there. The horse who finishes second in the race will beat him coming to the wire is right inside of him. Both these horses are closers. Thought there was a big difference between the rides. While they're close here on the backstretch, instead of relaxing and dropping back, the rider very shortly will send the 8 into a drive.
Yeah, we'll see the 8 horse get into a drive here. We Get It right about this point here, and it's a lot more of a relaxed style on the 7 Missing Link, who is one of the favorites in here. But right now, just to force up and make this wide move here, you just would have been better off served biding your time, waiting a little bit, then trying to make a move later and time it right. But this horse's type of run. It's not a very long run, and when you waste it around the turn going 4 wide, you're not going to have much left for the finish.
Right, and you can see the 7 horse, who's second to last, well back in the picture, saved ground, angled out, and the difference between their 2 trips. Now, neither one of them were beating the winner. Maybe the rider on the second horse sort of knew it was going to be tough to win the race, but not going in necessarily, because that horse did have a good shot, but got a relaxed ride, and We Get It was just rushed too soon, moved too early, moved too wide, and tried to do too much when he really couldn't get it done, and it cost him second. He would have been second very, very easily in this race. He wasn't winning the race, but it cost him second, and We Get It's no superstar, but you know what? In the right kind of race against this group, a fair pace in there, and a more patient ride, I think We Get It has a win in him.
All right, well, let's get on to our featured race of the week, and this was the Gotham Stakes for 3-year-olds, race number 10 from March 6th. We're going to look at the winner and the second-place finishers here, but we're also going to take a look at the 3-horse Nacho Friend, who might have had the most stressful trip of the group.
I agree. I thought Nacho Friend, obviously Awesome Act who won the race, who broke a little bit slowly there, but not Awesome Act's probably the best one going forward, but all 3 of these horses are theoretically pointing for the Wood Memorial, so there'll be a lot of discussion about them in the future, and of all of them, while Awesome Act is the most talented horse moving forward, YAWANNA, I thought, got a very, very good ride, good trip in here. I thought Nacho Friend never got a breather whatsoever at any point in the race and ran extraordinarily well, especially considering he hadn't run in over 7 months.
Yeah, his last race was in the Sanford at Saratoga on July 30th. Finished 4th in there, good closing 4th. So, now going in a route for the first time off this long layoff, kind of a whole different ball game thrown at Nacho Friend here. Out chasing the pace now, 3-4 wide, and we'll see the other 2 horses, the first and second finishers, just right behind Nacho Friend on the rail and in the 2-path. Awesome Act's in the 2-path, and YAWANNA Twist is on the rail here. So they get bunched up together here. It's a good point to kind of slow it down a little bit and show where they are.
Right. All 3 horses have gotten together. As you said, YAWANNA Twist has done sort of no running whatsoever, and he's right there on the inside, tucked in there waiting. Awesome Act's done a little bit of running, but he's going to make kind of an early move. Nacho Friend, even though they're all together, boy, he's done a lot more work than the other ones. Out in the clear, 3 wide, never gets a breather, and he makes the first move. And don't forget, this was a wicked pace, 22 and 4, 46 and 2, and they were winging it out front. And he was the only one that was up near this pace in the beginning. And I know the others aren't that far back, but I thought he was doing so much more work. And he makes this first move here. Awesome Act follows him. He may have moved a little soon. YAWANNA Twist waiting on the rail to pick up the pieces.
Yeah, YAWANNA Twist, it's the perfect garden rail trip here, and I just thought Julian Leperoux was very confident on Awesome Act here. Just wanted to get him to the outside here, and we see Nacho Friend just to the inside of Awesome Act, and these 2 horses will go on nicely, but Awesome Act really gets a perfect trip in here, and this is a horse I think still has some upside. He was off a layoff too. He hadn't run since the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf, and we'll see him just kind of draw away from the field here. YAWANNA Twist going to get into it late and make up some ground, but all the 3 horses, the horse that I thought ran the hardest race, maybe not necessarily the best race, but the hardest race was the 3, Nacho Friend, who's still plugging along here and not giving up.
Right, he never really quits. YAWANNA Twist ran the weakest of the 3 horses in the race, and I wouldn't want him going forward. Awesome Act would move forward. I wouldn't say he had a perfect trip, Awesome Act, because I thought he did move a little bit soon in this race. He was a little bit confident, but he had a lot of good things happen to him also. Nacho Friend, I agree, I'm impressed. Now, I don't think he can win the Wood Memorial. I don't know if he's going to win a 1 1/8. I don't know if far he ultimately wants to go. But I do think that Nacho Friend is okay, and I expect him to do some good things this year. He may, unfortunately, get in some spots which will be very difficult for him. Perhaps seeing what happens in the wood or see what they do going forward, taking a step back with him, this is a horse that I think could be heard from in some big races in the second half of the year.
All right, one more race to bring you in. We'll show you the last race from Sunday. This is March 7th. We're looking at a few horses in here, the 6 Grace and Courage and the 3 AVERIL'S Girl. We'll start it off here.
Yeah, first of all, these 2 horses break a little slowly. The 3 AVERIL'S Girl is a big long shot first-time star. I just wanted to show something interesting about the horse in the gallop out. But the 6, who's the favorite, Grace and Courage, breaks a little slowly. I'm not sure how much this ultimately hurt him because the entire field seems to go for the lead.
Yeah, I think the trouble here on Grace and Courage is going to be overrated, and we'll talk more about it as the race goes on. But Rosie Napravnik able to save some ground after the poor break with Grace and Courage. And here's the 9, Warmhearted Sandy, who we'll just keep an eye on for now. Warmhearted Sandy gets into some trouble as they move for the turns, obviously, out wide now, probably in about the 5 or 6 path, and going to have some traffic trouble around the turn. And Grace and Courage, who was the 8-5 favorite here, still off the screen, but, there's a contentious pace up front. There's 4 horses battling it out for the lead, and, the next couple of group of horses are a couple spots off the rail, so, really no one's getting a perfect trip in here except for the 7, Alakalea, who wins the race.
Yeah, I agree. Actually, the 7 did get the best trip of all. Though Grace and Courage got a very good trip when you figure it. And the way the 9, who we're going to see get squeezed out very soon out here, and the 9 appears like he's going to disappear from the picture. The way this horse comes back and sort of gets back in the game makes me really feel like the field was collapsing in here, and that helped the 6. I think Rosie Napravnik just got unlucky with the 6, Grace and Courage. This was not a bad ride. She was just a victim of bad fortune. Things never opened up. Because you see, Jackie Davis towards the inside. She ends up getting the outside. Grace and Courage never can. AVERIL'S Girl all the way in the back of the pack. We'll talk about her later.
Yeah, and I think here's where the trouble is going to get overrated because Grace and Courage does have a pretty good trip aside from the start here. Saving all the ground, Rosie's able to find some room here. I mean, it is a little bit tight here, but still, able to get through. And a race that I think is, just having her weight here is going to be a race where a lot of people think, wow, she had the trouble at the start. She had to wait a little bit in the stretch. She should have won this race. Well, she was 8-5 here. She saved a lot of ground, and I'm just not sure how good she is. And we'll take a look at the 3 horse there crossing the line next to last, AVERIL'S Girl. But we'll take a look at the gallop out and see just how quickly AVERIL'S Girl is able to move up on him after the race.
Right. You see right here, we're coming to the wire here, and you see AVERIL'S Girl. Now gallop outs can be deceptive, and sometimes, a horse being asked a little. AVERIL'S Girl is ridden by Amber Cobb, a 10-pound apprentice. And you see how quickly, just in the gallop out, this horse is running by everybody in this race. Now, maybe they're all collapsing, but theoretically, the 6 is supposed to be running up there. Gallop outs are deceiving. I'm not saying this horse is a superstar. I just thought for a 70-1 firster, this was sort of an interesting thing I had noticed after the race, so it was worth showing here. Grace and Courage found the right field. Now, maybe this same group meets again for another act of this. I got a feeling there'll be some new face in there. Everybody's going to say, oh, Grace and Courage had this nightmare trip. She should have won the race. There's no doubt about it. She was unlucky not to win the race. That doesn't mean she's a great bet going forward. Right.
Yeah, she was 8-5 in this race, and she'll probably be shorter. She faces the same group without any kind of flashy newcomers, so be very leery of Grace and Courage next time out.
I agree. There are horses, just because sometimes horses have tough trips and they come back and win those races, that doesn't mean you were supposed to bet them because of the tough trip. It's something you have to decide. Do you want to move up horses, and if you're moving them up on bad trips, how much? Anyway, once again, we love to hear your comments, trips and traps, at NYRAinc.com. Thanks for watching.